Hi everyone, Faye Shay is with you. Before the retelling of a funny movie, I want to ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is Fat Sherman. He's getting ready to go under the wine. His whole well-fed family is present at the ceremony. Sherman looked at the open cleavage of his fiancée Denise, and something huge began to try to escape from his pants. As it turned out, it was his audacious alter ego Buddy Love, who, as always, appeared at the most inopportune moment. In the end, Buddy got out of the anus and stole the bride. Fortunately, it was only a terrible dream. Sherman visits a psychologist because Buddy's voice always haunts him. Concerned Buddy constantly shoots vulgar phrases, which puts the guy in an awkward position. Dennis teaches with Klump at the same university. They flirt in front of students. The dean laughs at the guy for his excess weight. Sherman boasts of his new development. An old dog suffers from arthritis and impaired vision. A miracle serum should rejuvenate him before his eyes. In a second, his age has increased from 14 to 2 years. Rich man has already dreamed of millions that the medicine can bring, but the dog has aged again. The drug has a limited validity period. A well-fed family goes to a restaurant where, for a low fee, you can eat as much as you want. He emptied all the trays, ignoring only salads. And a small Swingoda devours what is generated directly from the vending machine. The family celebrates the retirement of Clintus. He makes fun of Isaac's grandmother's boyfriend, calling him the oldest living black man, but in bed Isaac Rocket justifies his grandmother and, unlike Clintus, his love tool worked. Sherman stopped an uncomfortable conversation and raised a toast to Dad. Buddy suddenly broke through and shouted that Clintus was actually fired. The old man choked. The exhaust pipe of the pipe worked directly on the candle and urgently needed to extinguish the fire. Unwittingly, Sherman ruined the evening. Sherman turned to the laboratory assistant Jason for help, and he found an abnormal gene responsible for testosterone in the professor. That's where Buddy Lab is hiding, but it cannot be removed. Sherman must learn to control it. Denise said that she was offered a good position at a university in another state, and only because of Sherman she was not ready to leave. The man was touched. He was worried that because of the excess weight he might be disgusted with Denise. Sherman is used to being mocked by everyone. He was always alone, but he doesn't want it anymore. Returning home, Dennis saw a path of roses and a beautiful bouquet, but this is not the whole surprise. Sherman confesses his feelings to the music and was about to offer his hand and heart. But then Buddy woke up again and invited the girl to shove her cucumber into her cake. Dennis did not appreciate the joke. Immediately Herman continues to talk about his ass. A sausage and a girl throws a bouquet at him. Buddy finally took over the guy's body and forced him to dance the bottom break. Angry, Herman ran to the laboratory and activated the program to remove the gene, and no matter how strange it sounded, the gene merged into the flask drop by drop. In the morning, Jason woke Sherman up. After learning what the professor had done, he began to worry about him. Sherman persuaded Dennis to meet him again. He apologized for his behavior yesterday and immediately showed a trick. He sprayed the phrase with special pheromones in the sky, and the fireflies hovered, lighting up Sherman's proposal to marry him. Buster ran into the laboratory and, trying to get a yummy, turned over a flask with Buddy Love's genetic material. After dog hair got into it, this led to unexpected consequences. When Sherman and his fiancée were drinking champagne, Richmond came to the audience and said that a large pharmaceutical company had offered $150 million for his discovery. Mom Klum was surprised when she saw a girl in her wedding dress. Grandma gives advice about family life. When the couple watched a movie in the cinema, someone started yelling at the whole hall. It turned out that Buddy Love was standing right in front of them. He was chasing Sherman and pestering his fiancée. Buddy demands from the scientist his share of the supposedly common invention. Sherman ran to the lab to hide the device. Together with Jason, they found a stain that Buddy left behind, as well as Baxter's fur, which revived him. Buddy at that time met with a representative of a pharmaceutical company, and he immediately smelled that Miss has a dog, a bitch, as he put it, and a minx. Buddy Love claims that his elixir works much better than Klump's medicine. He is ready to sell it for some $149 million, but he has yet to prove its effectiveness. When Buddy needed to go to the toilet, he put a pile on the spread newspapers. During the lecture, Sherman, for some reason, was able to answer a student's question about genetics. After the operation, he simply forgot his subject, and he also loses to a hamster who gets to the center of the maze faster than him. They found out that together with the removal of Buddy, they removed the impulses that enter the cerebral cortex, but for the professor this is already too complicated information. When Sherman returned, he found that Buddy Love had trashed his home, but at least he didn't find the elixir. Sherman hid it in his parents' garage. But ironically, Clytus drinks a drink and he is rejuvenated. He immediately fell into the club to break away. Sherman came to meet Dennis's parents, who turned out to be astrophysicists. The man did not fasten his fly and behaves like a fool at the table, simultaneously hamming Dennis' parents. A lady is flirting with Clytus, who is jealous of her man, some ancient little peasant. He called him to a fight and now he's hard on him. Buddy Love was late for a meeting with Miss Guilford. She is sure that there is no elixir. Buddy saw a strange fight in the alley, right in front of his eyes. Cleo's got fat and aged, which means he was taking a miracle elixir. When he came home, Clytus finally decided to please his wife and drank more red liquid, but the woman screamed in horror, not realizing at first who wanted to join her. Her husband offered her to drink the elixir, but she was offended by him. Apparently he was already tired of her. Dennis is upset by Sherman's behavior. He would like to see a doctor. When the professor fell asleep near the TV, the series The Dumbest Man in the Universe was shown on it. Granny gave Dennis spicy underwear. Many guests came to Sherman. Buddy Love also entered the house without asking. Granny ordered a stripper for a bachelorette party, and it was for him that she took Buddy, who was prowling in her bedroom. At this time, a real firefighter knocked on the door with a fire raging between his legs. Buddy finds the elixir and drains himself a little and diluted the rest with fertilizer. While Grandma was dreaming and imagining how wonderful it would be to spend time with a stripper, the old lady blocked Buddy's exit from the garage and completely bared herself in front of him. The man screamed in horror from such a picture. Well, our hero came to the presentation. Our Buddy immediately appeared, but immediately got distracted and chased the cat. His whole family will watch Sherman's performance. The professor demonstrates the effect of the elixir on an old 4-year-old hamster. He received his dose and not only rejuvenated, but immediately jumped on the female. But after that the hamster grew to huge sizes and everyone fled in panic. Seeing a policeman with a gun, the hamster began to shoot back with poop. Dean Richmond tried to hide behind a fur coat, but only aroused the mega hamster's intimate interest. Buddy Love was waiting for Miss Gilmore at the exit, and now she is ready to give him a chance to present the elixir. The dean with the winning ass complains that the university lost $150 million and some guy on the street called him a hamster girlfriend. Sherman was fired. His brain is already damaged by 27%, with 78% he will lose speech and memory. Sherman doesn't want to talk about it to Dennis, so he just cancels their wedding. Herman came up with a brilliant plan to fix everything. He produced a concentrated elixir of youth. Meanwhile, Buddy Love began his presentation and Denise left a farewell letter on Sherman's desk. Immediately she learned about the destruction of her beloved's brain. Buddy was about to give the elixir to the old man when Sherman burst into the office. The professor decided to play ball with Buddy, but he only pretends to throw it and deceive the dog in the end. Buddy still caught the ball with his mouth and growled at the company's management. It turned out that there was an elixir inside the bitten ball, and Batty immediately turned into a talking baby. He pissed Richmond and took to his heels. Ms. Guilford was satisfied that she was ready to sign a contract with the inventor. After running a little more, Buddy turned into liquid. The blue snot is still trying to escape and stuck on the ass of a passerby. Sherman was completely stupefied and the liquid dissolved in the fountain. Dennis found a fool, straining. He managed to apologize to her and then forgot her. The woman dropped a tear into the fountain and the water in it lit up. She realized that Buddy's DNA was in the fountain and Sherman just needed to drink this water well. As a result, his memory returned to him and they finally got married. The wedding bouquet came to Richmond, who was looked at with lust by a hamster. Here is Such a Comedy Today was on Retelling. Put likes and subscribe to the channel. So long to everyone.